Do you have a putter that looks like this? Either a plumber's neck or a slant neck? Because there's a good chance that it might be bent. I'm going to show you what to look for, how to check it, and how to fix it. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to the Mobile Club Maker. I'm AJ, I hope you're having a wonderful day. So this video we are going to be talking about fixing a putter that is bent right here at this little stem section, because if it is bent, you can be putting with a putter that is either delivering too much loft or not enough loft, and you won't even know it. So first off, let's talk about, well, how do you tell? How can you figure out, is my putter bent? And the first thing I would say to do is to just hold it up in front of your face and really just take a close look at it and see if anything looks bent or not quite straight on. So if I hold this putter and not hit the ceiling right in front of my face and try and get the shaft running as perfectly up and down as possible, what I'm looking for is, one, is there any kind of bend in this little stem section? And this particular putter, actually, you can see it, I think. There is a slight curve to it, bending like this. Now, you may have a putter that curves the other way also. If it's curving like this, it's likely that the putter is now presenting too much loft. If it's bending like this, the putter is not presenting enough loft. So this is the first thing we want to check. Now, just seeing that this little neck is bent or maybe not bent isn't going to give you the full story, because I've seen in some cases you can have a neck bent, but then the head itself has been bent or is naturally bent in such a way that it sort of cancels out, and so you're delivering, or the loft on that putter is the correct loft because maybe the stem is bent but the head is also bent. Likewise, you can have a stem that maybe looks perfectly straight, but right down here at the connection point there's a bend and the loft is again too high or too low. So this is just sort of the preliminary sort of check, figure out maybe there may be something off. The next step is to take a measurement and see what we're working with. All right, so all we're going to do to measure this putter is we're going to get our smartphone. And hopefully either you have some sort of angle finder, some sort of angle measuring app on your phone, or you can easily just download one from any of the app stores. But basically it's just some sort of angle finder so that you can use your phone, set it on different surfaces, and figure out if things are level. So right now this table, which is good, is at 0 degrees. So what we want to do is we're going to take two measurements. First, we're going to measure the shaft, and we're going to try and get the shaft at a measurement of 0 degrees, basically perpendicular to the table. Now, if you have a vise can be helpful just to hold everything still and stable, but even if you don't, I'm going to show you, you don't need it. So we're going to put this in and just sort of put it right here at the bottom. You want to always measure as close to the hosel as possible, because if you go further up, the shaft starts to taper out and your measurement won't be right. So you want it right down here at the bottom. We're just going to lay this on here and right there. And we are right about 0 degrees. Now, holding it right there, we're now just going to take a measurement of the face and just set, again, the edge of the phone up against the face of the putter. And we're getting, well, I'm blocking it with my hand, but we're getting basically between 6 and 7 degrees. Now, in case you're wondering how accurate that is, I'm going to put this on my much more elaborate, much more expensive method of measuring golf club lofts and lies, and we're just going to check it and see how close we were. So let's get this zeroed out at loft and face angle at 0, and let's see, what do we get? And that looks like basically right about, that's about 6.5 degrees, so a little bit under 7. So the little app on the smartphone basically gave us the same number that the big, expensive loft lie gauge gave us. So if you take your time, measure carefully, you can get a very accurate measurement, a very accurate number for your loft using just your smartphone. Now, I would definitely recommend, if you're using your smartphone and you have a case on it, take the case off just so you can get the flattest edge possible to lay up against the face when you're doing your measurements. But other than that, it just takes a little bit of time. Maybe measure it more than once, measure it 2 or 3 times just to ensure you're getting the same measurement every time. But now we know that this putter that's supposed to be at 3 degrees is right now at 6.5 degrees. So the next question is, well, how are we going to fix that? So we need to adjust this putter 3.5 degrees. Now, if you have a good local club builder that you can use, that is a great option. However, if you don't, or you don't know of one, this is definitely something you can do at home, and the only tool you really need is a big hammer. Let me show you how we're going to do this. Okay, step one. We are going to be hammering basically right here on this neck. Now, this neck is bending like this, so we are going to be hammering this direction on the neck. We want to take a couple precautions before we start doing this. We don't want to just start wailing away on this because this putter, as we've already discussed, is pretty soft. The material that they use to mill this is a softer metal. You can already see the putter has some little dings and nicks on the neck already and on the face and other places, so we know it is a soft putter and we want to try and protect it as best we can. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap the area that we're going to be hammering on with a little bit of masking tape. Basically, say 2 to 3 layers thick. So I've just got a few little blocks of scrap wood. 2 of these blocks are going to be used as sort of our jig to get it set in the right position, and one of them we're going to use as what do we want to call this? Basically, we don't want to hammer directly onto the metal, so we are going to use the wood and hammer the wood and let the wood hammer the metal, and hopefully that'll help minimize any chance that we're going to put any dings or any nicks into this head. So here's the setup we've got. We're going to rest the head first off on this first taller piece of scrap wood, so it's basically just sitting nice and flush there. Again, this putter has the bend going like this, so we are trying to flatten this out, so we're going to be hitting down on that. So here's our first. Secondly, I've got a second piece of wood. It's a little bit lower. There's a little gap here. I'm just going to throw this shop glove underneath it just to fill that gap, have it sit a little bit more flush. Now I get it. If this is your first time taking a hammer to a golf club, you may be a little nervous, and that is completely understandable, especially if you have a more expensive putter. So all we are trying to do here really is minimize our chances of making a mess of it. So we wrapped it with some masking tape. We're going to use that second piece of wood as our sort of strike piece to try and make sure we don't dig in with the actual metal of the mallet into the metal of the putter. And from there, it's really about kind of figuring out what the metal is going to give you. So I'm not exactly sure how hard I'm going to have to hit this putter to get the bend out of it and to get back to that neutral loft that we're looking for. So we're going to start with lighter taps, a few taps at a time. We'll take it, we'll hit it a few times, we'll do a measurement using the phone again, see if we've moved it at all, and then go back if we need to go a few more taps, maybe tap a little harder, and just sort of work our way until we get around that 3-degree bend or that 3-degree loft that we're looking for. Here goes nothing. Again, we're going to position the wood right in the center of the stem. And we're just going to start hitting right directly in line with how the stem is basically positioned. We don't want to be hitting off to the side. We're hitting off to the other side. We want it sitting nicely flat up against the stem. And we're just going to take some gentle I may be able to see a little bit of the bend coming out of it now. I'm going to hit a few more times up a little bit higher. I feel like I see a little bit more of the bend right here. So we're going to focus a few strikes just a little bit higher and see if we can get this squared away. Zero, face. 3 degrees. Well, according to this, we're at 3 degrees. Let's go ahead and double check that. And can you see that? Hopefully you can see it. We are just fractionally under 3 degrees. So this is like 2.8 degrees, something like that. And the final moment of truth, let's unwrap the neck and see how the finish looks on this. Okay, and the moment of truth, as you can see here, the putter basically looks identical to when we started this process. We don't have any additional dings or dents or anything like that. Remember, we were hammering all over this section of the putter, and there are no additional marks of any kind to be seen there. And we now have a putter that is right about 3 degrees as opposed to 6.5 degrees, so hopefully we can make more putts with it. Okay, I get it. This sounds like an intimidating sort of thing, right? Take a mallet to your $300, $400 putter. But look, as we showed here, we took this putter from 6.5 degrees of loft down to the 3 degrees of loft we wanted, and we got no damage. There is no scratch, ding, dent of any kind from where we were hammering on this stem. And again, that's all based on the preparation that we did with the masking tape, using that block of wood as a buffer between the mallet head and the stem, and then just taking our time, working on it, taking a measurement, seeing how much we moved it, going back, hammering it some more, and just sort of inching our way forward till we got it to the right place. If you have any questions, definitely go down below, leave them in the comment section. I try to answer every question I get. If you enjoyed this video, please go down below, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. I'm on Patreon. If you want to support me there, you can find me at AJ Golf. And if you want to find me on Instagram, you can find me at Mobile Club Maker. We'll see you next time. Bye.